This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Planning and Zoning Commission, June 5th, 2023. My name is Ron Carlson. I'm the chairman of the commission, and we have a relatively moderate agenda tonight. This meeting is from 7, of course, until it ends, or 10 o'clock comes first. I'm going to just introduce the commission to you before we get started. To my extreme right is Andy Bellavacca, our town engineer. Next to him is Alan Fredrickson, land use administrator. To my extreme left is Katanias, he is our court reporter. Next to her is Pam Miller, our staff secretary. Rod?
Roderick Williams, alternate. Jim Giletti, regular member.
Teresa Ranciano-Vili, secretary.
Paul Wyman, vice chair.
Brian Cummings, regular member.
Mark Parisi, alternate.
John Triano, alternate.
Okay, that being said, we have a good agenda tonight, I think. Alan, let me just call and see if there's any changes here.
I don't think so.
There is no changes. Okay, very good. We have no public hearings tonight, and we just have some site plans. Teresa, if you would read in, I'm going to read in the public hearings as well as the site plans if we don't have any, but we're going to read those in. We have to do it. So Teresa, would you please read in the first public hearing?
Number 1, P23-07, application of John Zerlis, applicant, U.S. Surgical Corporation owner, relative to 60 Middletown Avenue, map 6, lot 26, plan entitled CO 3088-EA, freeze conditioning system and chiller for Medtronic, Middletown Avenue, McDermott Road, North Haven, Connecticut, prepared by TPA Design Group, dated April 2023, scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, IL 30 zoning district.
Okay, John?
Good evening. John Zerlis with TPA Design Group. I'm representing Medtronics on the application for this evening. Our application is very straightforward. Medtronics, in their expansion and modernization of their building, wishes to construct a 3,600 square foot building adjacent to the PDBMF. It is not attached to the PDBMF. There's an 8-foot difference between the two. The larger plan of the location. There is a driveway for trucks to pull in for equipment and various doors for staff for maintenance or things like that. It is not an occupied building at any time other than to go in and for maintenance purposes. So we lose 14 parking spaces. However, on the overall campus, calculations show that we're 300 spaces over what is required for the campus. Roof drainage will tie into the existing storm line, which discharges into the Little River. And on that note, I will note that this plan was submitted to the zoning office, and it has received an administrative review positive. So that's been taken care of. We've received comments from both land use administrator and town engineer. The town engineer didn't have any comments, and Alan had very few. They were all very minor in what he's requesting, and essentially that's our application.
Okay, this building is just standalone, John?
Yes.
Is there a full basement or a knee wall?
No, slab on grade, yes.
Okay, so what's going in this building, actually?
I'm sorry?
What is going in this building?
Hanged if I know.
Okay,
It's chiller equipment, switchgear equipment, it's a jam-packed
what's,
building.
a control building or something?
Yes,
It is?
so, yeah.
What does chiller
Sorry.
equipment mean? That's what,
Yeah, go ahead.
It has to do with their processing.
Ah.
I,
so something that makes something cold and whatever they do.
yeah, because we just got, a couple months ago, I was in here, and we got a approval for another chiller at the main plant.
Okay.
So they're, I guess each development needs, or a portion of it needs its own chiller equipment. What it does, what they need it for, top secret.
Got it.
Lisa?
No questions.
Paul?
No question.
I'm all set for Ellen.
One question, one of Alan's recommendations or requests is that there be trees at the north end. Can you indicate where they would be? Are they at the top of that parking lot on the drawing there? Or
The-
there would be-
The two trees, these are existing, and we will be putting in two trees at the end of the aisle.
Okay,
You want this, you also want it?
well said, thank you.
Okay, staff? Andy's good?
Good.
Okay, John, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, Teresa?
Number 2, P23-08, application of Area Cooperative Educational Services, or ACES, applicant and owner relative to 60 United Drive, lot 28 and lot 7, plan entitled Charging Station and Power Room Layout, 60 United Drive, ACES, North Haven, Connecticut, 06473, prepared by 360 Design Plus LLC, dated 5/12/23, scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, IG 8 zoning district.
Okay,
Good evening. My name is Brendan Sharkey. I'm here as an attorney for ACES. And you may remember about 2 years ago, when we were all still on Zoom, ACES came to you with an application for the installation of a pad and a little bit of a change in the traffic flow of their location at 60 United Drive, which is where.
Excuse me, can you please remind me to speak?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
So, as I was saying, about 2 years ago, we came to you looking for a site plan amendment to 60 United Drive for the purpose of installing a charging equipment for the first full-size electric school bus in the state of Connecticut, which you all granted. That has been installed and is operational, and that EV bus has made national attention ever since. We were featured with the Vice President just a few months ago. But in order for that charging facility to work properly, it needs to have an upgrade to the electrical system at the building itself. Currently, we're operating under a temporary building permit, and what we've learned from UI and what will be needed is an upgrade to the entire building's electrical system, as well as a new transformer, all of which has been ordered and is in progress. In order for us to do that, the building itself needs a small addition to the back of the building, a cinder block, watertight addition to the building itself that can house the kind of large-scale electrical equipment that's needed. It can't actually fit inside the building itself. So that's what you have before you tonight. There's an entranceway here on the south side of the property. The actual cinder block building would be 4 feet wide and right next to the building. And then over here is a cement slab to also house water equipment that would be exterior to the building. So that's what we're here for tonight. There's a detail of what the electrical, or the cinder block construction will look like. It's very simple. It's only 4 feet wide. And if you're familiar with the building, this area generally here right now is just shrubbery. It's not actually in use for anything other than just landscaping. So we're going to take those two pieces of the landscaping for this purpose. Again, just 4 feet wide, behind the sidewalk and not anywhere in the existing parking area. In addition, I would just add that while we're here, we wanted to also include 2 new EV charging, what are called level 2 chargers, which are smaller in scale and scope. They just go on a pedestal, and they would be located here on the, the east side of the property. We have already grants from UI to be able to do those installations. So we wanted to come to you to request both of these at the same time to enable us to get our final building permit, an electrical permit to allow for this DC fast charger to be properly, fully installed. And ACES intends to make this part of the hub for all of their electric vehicle transportation needs going forward.
So what do you have there now? You have a temporary building permit, an electrical permit for this?
Correct.
It's temporary and
It's
electrical as well?
Yes, it's temporary, yes.
So you get that one permit to carry both sides of it, both the power?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So there'll be
Go ahead.
transformers in there? Stuff that's gonna happen?
There, well, UI will be supplied, there is a transformer already in this area of the property. That will be swapped out for a
Bigger.
For a
yeah,
bigger
to-
transformer, that's
For
right.
more amperage for the.
That's correct, yep.
Brendan, I believe last time you were here, when you were building it for the first bus, you had like a roof that was solar powered, was it? And it was powering making the power of the
Indeed,
bus.
yes. Well, that solar is right here.
Okay.
And the other reason why we need to do this upgrade as well, it's primarily for the charger, which, by the way, I should have pointed this out, but the charger is over here. That's where the bus is parked, at that separate outbuilding. But solar is now installed on that roof,
And that's gonna power these new chargers too?
and that will also power the charger. Yes.
Brenda, what do you mean by hub, however? What's that mean?
Well, eventually, all of ACES actually parks most of their vans, actually, at this location at
Okay.
60 United Drive. And eventually, they're going to be converting their gasoline-powered vans over to electric over the next, 5 years or so.
Okay.
So this is meant to be sort of future-proofing the facility. So when they start to transfer over from gas power to EV, they'll have the chargers, the smaller scale chargers, which charge vans,
Okay.
as well as the DC fast charger.
Good enough, thank you. Jim?
I got nothing.
Ron?
I'm fine, thanks, no questions.
Thank you.
Mark?
The transformer, will they have to put a new pad for that transformer, being a larger one, or is it able to accommodate? Will they have to?
They're responsible for it, so they're gonna put it where the existing transformer currently is. There's a 208 service now, this will be a 480 service coming in. There may be a need for a telephone pole as well to bring the power overhead.
So they're gonna have to shut the power down?
Yes, definitely, yes.
Okay.
John?
Good.
You good? You all set, Mark?
Good.
Anybody set? Staff?
Yep.
Just like to say they maintain the property very, very well down there, and it's good to see. Not all the buildings down that area are as well maintained.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
T 23-09, application of Robert Swanson, applicant, VL Realty Company LLC owner, relative to 50 McDermott Road, map 6, lot 9, plan entitled Proposed Commercial Addition, number 50 McDermott Road, North Haven, Connecticut, prepared by Giuliano Associates, dated February 20th, 2023, revised April 18th, 2023. Scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, IL 30 zoning district.
Every time.
We're just gonna hold this. Good morning, evening. My name is Zach Georgman. I'm with Giuliano Associates, located at 405 Main Street in Wallingford, Connecticut. Georgina. Excellent. I will be representing the applicant, and I am the design project engineer on this. Essentially, what we're looking to do here at 50 McDermott is expand the building. Presently, the building on site is about 21,000 square feet, and we're looking to add a 5,000 square foot addition. That addition will be located on the east side of the building, set further back from the current front, about midway on the existing side of the building. To accommodate this, we will be reducing the existing impervious parking on site. Presently, there are 55 spaces. With the expansion, we need 53 spaces. To do this, again, we're reconfiguring the parking lot a little bit to get us up to 50 spaces with 3 ADA spaces. Presently, there are 0 ADA spaces on this site. So, that's all good and dandy. What we are doing, though, to accommodate this is we are including 1, 2, 3, 4 islands and pulling back the front yard setback for the parking in the area we will be adjusting. Including in that 5 new trees. We'll get into comments later, adjusting this slightly from Mr. Frederickson, but I just didn't want to confuse anybody with presenting a plan that had not been submitted to the commission. So, based on that, that's trying to do this one-handed. Just my notes. 1 second. So as I was saying, the existing building currently has front yard setbacks of 46 feet, side yard setback of 64 feet, and a rear yard setback of 200 feet. Like I said, the proposed building is going to be even further back at 96 feet, while maintaining a side yard setback to the adjacent property of 96 feet. Additionally, it will be 279 feet to the rear setback. So the addition is completely conforming. Full transparency, it was discovered through staff review that despite coming in ahead of time, this is an existing non-conforming building. Traditionally, we would have to go to ZBA for them to just bless the expansion of an existing non-conforming building. However, with reviewing the town council and working with the timeline and the situation that has been dealt with us, we are applying to ZBA, so any approval from this commission would be contingent on ZBA approving the expansion of the non-conforming building.
Can I assume that that's the front yard setback that's non-conforming?
Correct.
Okay.
Which brings us into comments received by Mr. Frederickson. For the most part, they're fairly minor, notes added to the plans and such. The major ones are the concerning of a sidewalk along the front of the property. By town regulation, it would need to be a 5-foot setback. This commission can waive that requirement. Sidewalk, thank you. This commission has the ability to waive that requirement. I would ask that that be waived for a couple of reasons. First is, the nearest sidewalk to this is over 500 feet away from it across 2 properties. So,
Which way?
that would be going east, would be the closest one, and that's 500 feet, and it's right at the corner of McDermott and...
Quinnipiac Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's the
Where-
corner property,
Yeah, where that Rite Aid was.
Oh, yeah, the old one.
so there's nothing else down McDermott?
The other direction down McDermott is over 2,000 feet to the next sidewalk.
So
There's
there's
a
one
truck
more-
rental place toward the west.
Right.
And then you go into an odd situation where there's supposed to be a road, Rebeshi Drive.
Oh, yeah.
It is not a town road at this time. It was never offered or accepted, and I don't know where we are with that, so. I guess we have a private drive, that's where we are.
In addition to those 2 considerations, to put a sidewalk in the existing right-of-way between where McDermott lies and the property line would require relocating 3 utility poles and a fire hydrant. So, a fairly labor-intensive endeavor on that. And so that comes the sidewalk. Then we move into including proposed light photometric plan, which is no problem to include, just need to contact the architect. Basic architecturals don't typically include building lights. I know there's no site lighting proposed, so got to get those confirmed, but not a problem to include. And then the last real major, not major, but the last concern would be Mr. Frederickson has requested that along the building, at the end of this proposed handicap parking, we include a 9-foot island with a tree and extend the existing landscaped area here to also be essentially a 9-foot island, which we can accommodate, including the tree as well. And speaking with Mr. Frederickson, we can get a tree. It's going to have to be a smaller grade of tree, as we are right up against a building, but that is something that is attainable with the current design and only shifting parking. The last town comment that needs direct addressing would be from engineering. They asked for clarification on how water is collected and discharged. Presently, the site, the building is roof gutters discharging to grade. There's no stormwater on site in terms of underground collection or detention. Same thing with the parking lot. Everything is designed and pitched to sheet flow back towards what is currently a wetland, but I suspect was originally designed to be a stormwater detention basin for this and other adjoining sites. Essentially a low spot to collect water and eventually sheet it off down the stream, across the road, and away. As I said, we are reducing the impervious on site by about 1,800 square feet. So what we are proposing is this building, which will be going over existing pavement, to maintain the current, sheeting it to grade. We plan to direct it into the new grass areas, which will help those trees survive, lower velocity, and allow for slight infiltration, as well as by adding these islands, we are reducing the amount of impervious on site, which means less stormwater will be being directed into that basin in the first place.
So you've been to wetlands already?
Yes, we have been to wetlands.
Okay, and you told them what you're just telling us now?
What we told wetlands was it would be consistent with the current system tying in, so with that being discharged to grade, yes, this is consistent with that.
You just get your approval.
Say again?
You're all good, you're good with whatever you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, one more question. Did you notice the no outdoor storage note?
Yeah, that's not a big issue. That's a note on the plan and just making sure that the applicant follows the rules.
Is the applicant currently following the rules?
Based on time of survey, I would say that no more storage outside than any other industrial in terms of there was a dumpster outside, but for the most part, a fairly neat site. Alan, do you concur with that, or do you have different findings?
I think in general, it's less than most. I think from time to time, they bring something transitional in and then it goes into the building or what have you after a week or what have you. I don't think there's no trucks, trailers, nothing like that. So kind of a good thing in terms of, diesel fuel or whatever. You don't see anything like that there. It's a fairly clean site.
Okay, one more question about the lights.
Yes.
So, down lighting, dark sky compliant.
Anything that would be installed would have to comply with state statute. I don't recall it, but yeah, it would have to be no glow, no vertical light, and have a BU rating of 0. So state compliant lighting.
Jim?
My only question, Andy, is that drainage explanation good for you?
Yeah, I mean, my comments, basically what I did is I went through the wetland comments, and they had addressed everything, but I just wasn't clear on exactly how that storm drainage is gonna be handled, and I just don't wanna see it just dumping off into the parking lot. So, I think your explanation is fine, tying in with the existing discharge from the existing roof, that works just fine. It just wasn't clear as to what the plan was, that's all.
That's it, I'm good.
Paul?
Good.
I'm good. Nothing.
Good.
Just
There's a circle in the parking lot there, I don't know what color that is, like red or, yeah, what is that thing?
That's a temporary stockpile. So essentially during construction, you have to have a material or a location designated for materials that are being stockpiled. So obviously when you want to put a foundation in, you have to remove some material. That's to be encased with hay bales on site so that put the material there, waiting for transport, so if it rains, it doesn't get out, you've got the hay bales to try to contain it, as well as a silt fence along the backside of the parking lot to also contain it. but that's just the designated location for those materials. It's temporary, and at the end of construction would be removed.
Thanks.
That was actually one of my wetland comments. So,
Just like to say that this approval would render moot the earlier approval on this property. If you remember, there was a carport that was approved with solar panels on it. They were gonna put solar panels on the roof as well. They have not pursued that approval. It's definitely expired. It may be permanently expired, but by not showing that on the plan, this would supersede that. We could put it in the other drawer.
Anybody else? I'm sorry, I think I mesmerized her a little bit.
The
Anybody else?
North Library will be closing in 30 minutes. All computers, Wi-Fi, and printers will automatically shut down in 15 minutes. All purchases for the bookstore and cafe and all library card applications must be done by 7:45.
Okay, that's good, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
There's no table service.
We go right down to change of use.
Okay.
We're on the change of use, that's, take them right from the top.
Or do you, I want the other?
On the other.
Oh, what's that?
Bypass.
Oh, the other, oh,
No, right there. Under deliberation, there's an other.
okay. Good, Jim. We got other here, we've got 80 Old Broadway, west.
Anybody here from the Elks, or on behalf of the Elks?
There is an L here.
So I'm not sure I know all the formalities of this, but our request is pretty simple. Denise Reynolds representing New Haven Oaks, located on 80 Old Broadway. Our original site plan, approved site plan, had a pavilion in the back, an open pavilion. It was 20 by 40 on the approved site plan. We are requesting this commission's consideration to allow us to expand that open pavilion to a structure of 36 by 40. There was a concern around the tree. The original design ensured that the tree would remain. This new size ensures that that tree would remain. We just have to remove 2 branches for the height to make sure they don't go into the top of it, but other than that, that existing tree would remain.
Okay.
No, say open, you're gonna have a roof, no sides, it's gonna be a big wall.
Correct, open roof, kind of a rustic structure. The only place there will be a half wall, it'll be, we're still kind of in the design phase, it'll either be 3 or 4 feet, is, there is that area on the backside where it kind of drops down. So we were gonna put a half wall there, just to ensure safety for our members and guests.
This won't interfere with any parking because it's gonna be.
Not at all.
No, I'm good.
Not at all.
I understand it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All set.
Well said.
Thank you for your consideration.
Right.
No questions.
Yeah, that's it. You understand, just get in there and get out of here. Okay. Change of use is 144 Washington Avenue.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Carmine Capasso.
Can I get that mic right there?
Sure. My name is Carmine Capasso, and I represent 144 Washington Avenue. We're seeking a change of use from retail to fast food without a drive-through.
Go ahead, Caroline.
Sure. The property is 144 Washington Avenue. I'm with 146 Washington LLC, and we're seeking a change of use from retail to fast food without a drive-through. We had several inquiries, one being next ice cream shop who wants to go there. We have been trying to lease the last spot to retail, to no avail, smoke shops, gun shops, and other uses that we don't want to put in there. There's a great use for retail there. There's a lot of interest, and one potential tenant who we're currently negotiating with.
Alphonse, you got something to say about this?
Yeah, I'd like to do like a food service.
Alphonse, your name and address.
Oh, Alphonse DeLucia, 144 or 146 Washington Avenue. So we're looking to either grab what
You actually just spell your last name.
DELUCIA, one of the owners from 144 or 146. So we're seeking, I think there's a appropriate parking there. So we're looking to do a grab and go or something else for for the fourth store we rented. So we have Starbucks, Five Guys, and Chicken Place.
Okay, thank you. Lisa? Any questions, Jim?
Well, I'll start.
Okay, Jim.
So here's the issue, two issues. Number one, have you addressed the police comments?
Alan made us aware of the police comments. The police comments were done after the zoning approval of the original building, and
But this is another
this
application.
is another application, and we said if the commission would like to address the police comments within this application, we'd be open to it.
Okay, if the commission wants to do it, it doesn't matter if you're open to it or not.
I mean,
You have to do it if we say. that you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to do it.
yeah, I understand. Currently, if it's correct, yeah.
Okay.
The police gave us their change of signage, and we don't have an issue doing that.
So
with
now,
the change of
let me
use.
get to the second issue. What was submitted with it, you're not from the engineering?
No, I'm not.
office, right? So the engineering, the application was submitted with this plan from the engineering office that said, and we can all agree, it said originally, under our regulations, you need 86 spaces. But for the last application, using the IPE, you could get away with 74. You're now way past that if you make this into food. So you're past the very thing you gave us to rely on to say you got enough spaces. So I don't know how that works.
It worked. I would ask, well, the commission has authority to make their own determination, not follow the parking standards if they wish. One thing I'd like to say is, if anyone who has been at that property regularly, like we have, in the morning, there is pretty full parking with Starbucks. However, roughly around 11 o'clock onwards, I would say 60–70% of that parking space is taken, with 30 not. There is a little bit of rush on 12 o'clock, but after that, every time that I've been there and we've been working there, there has to be at least 10 to 20 spots open on a regular basis. So I understand what the study has said, but in actuality.
It's your study, though. It's
Yeah,
your
no,
applicant's study.
Yeah,
Says you don't have enough.
I agree with you.
Okay.
However, it is a study. I'm asking the commission to make a determination based on what's actually physically occurring there. I think there's a great use in it. By bringing another fast food, or we're currently negotiating with a tenant that I think it would be in the best interest of the town. The town would like this tenant here, but we can't bring them there because it's retail. So we're asking for a waiver and allow for the parking.
Okay, I didn't understand that. You said you can't bring them because it's retail. Your tenant is gonna be retail?
The last speak, no.
So it's food service?
Food service, correct.
Okay, but how do we make a judgment when your engineer says you don't have enough, and you're saying, well, we do have enough, but we're gonna bring in some unknown food tenant, and we're gonna have to gauge how many spaces that's gonna need? I don't know how to do it with the very stuff you gave us.
Well, can I ask a question? When you say food tenant, when you say fast food tenant, no drive-through, and any tables for this fast food tenant? Are there gonna be any tables where people would come and sit down?
No, there's no table, so this is primarily a pick and go establishment in the sense it's get your food and go. They're not gonna be sitting there, they're not gonna be sitting, there's no patio space, they're gonna
That's what I
get their.
was gonna say, no plans to put any patio space
No,
outside?
no,
Okay.
they're, what has been approved previously with seating and the site plan is what's going to stay. This particular establishment is not gonna have seating where cars will be parked there for long periods of time.
Okay. And, no, Jim, are you?
Well, but the math is a problem,
Okay.
because if it's fast casual, this thing you gave us, it goes up by 20 spaces.
James, you've been there, it's all grab and go, it's Starbucks busy in the morning, and then there's plenty of space, you've been there plenty of times.
I have
Half of
been
the
there
park-
plenty of times.
Half of the parking spaces are empty.
But here's the
It's
problem.
common sense.
If you had your engineer
Common
here
sense.
telling me, listen, we don't need it, but he told us we needed it last time, I'd be sitting there saying, okay, fine, we got some testimony. You're giving me your testimony, which is the same as mine, certainly not an expert testimony about the number of spaces it needs. I don't know what you're gonna bring in there and how many spaces it's gonna need. All I'm saying is, based on what you gave us, there's not enough.
And my response to that would be that according to 8.5.1.6, the commission has authority not to abide by those set parking spots. And the commission in the past has given waivers in the past. So we're not the
We did it last
first.
time for you.
Last time wasn't a waiver. Last time was a
was.
study that showed that we meet the parking requirements based on the studies.
But the study was not in accordance with our regulations. We waived our regulations because you didn't have enough under ours. Last time, you needed 84, you had 72.
Well, I
This
just
is
said-
by the stuff you gave us, that's what I'm saying. So,
Like I said, you do have the authority to do it.
No, we
If
haven't.
anyone has been down there and seen the parking there, it wouldn't be a question because that parking lot is typically empty. About 30% of that spaces are empty there. There's probably more employees that park there from 12 on than there are tenants there who eat.
Okay. Paul, you good for the moment, Jim?
yeah.
You find it hard to get interest unless it's approved for the fast?
Yeah, for over 2 years, we've been trying to rent the space out
Yeah.
to retail. And Smoke Shop approached us and also a gun shop, and we have no interest in doing that with the tenants that we have there and the clientele that comes there. So we spent a lot of money in this building to build it, and we didn't put up a cookie cutter box. We put high-end materials to build it, and we're asking for a waiver for the parking because there are several fast food establishments that want the space and we can't rent to them. Retail's been very hard, as you know, and with the economy turning too. We do our negotiations with an ice cream shop currently, with that we stop until we have the rest of this, commission hearing. There's no sense of going forward with anyone. So it is economic as well.
So, ice cream shop at different hours than the rest of them?
Yeah, and I'd like to let the commission know that we have current restrictions with the current tenants. For instance, Starbucks does not allow any breakfast sandwiches, any coffee shops. So this particular establishment, the retail center is filled with cars with Starbucks in the morning. However, what I'm saying is if anyone's been there from 11 on, it's empty. And we're not bringing in another coffee shop or another smoothie shop or another tea shop. It's gonna be something for lunch or dessert, and even dessert can't have blended drinks. So it's mostly from 12 o'clock on is gonna be the clientele there. And then there's,
Now, I know there was some concerns about the signage, we talked about that. So that, do you plan on?
yeah, as a
Addressing
condition of
that.
the approval, we would change the signage. We got approval, we went to the fire department, we have a letter there, and we understand Alan told us that the police department wanted some signage changed. We reviewed the signage, and we do not have an issue with changing the signage if the commission would be kind enough to grant us this application.
Okay, you don't have any objection to the signage
No.
change at all?
No.
because, it's gonna be changed.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill, said Paul.
Yeah, that's it. No, I just want to make the comment, it's a beautiful building. So-
Thank you.
Yeah, you're good with the police chief's comments about the signs, we've established that. As far as the fast food, though, this is not gonna be something, you only have 1,200 square feet in that unit. So it's gonna be more like the Haven Chicken.
Oh, yes, absolutely, there's
People
not gonna be
just
seats in there.
come in, show
In
you
and
how to
out,
get the
Uber
food.
driver, come get your, and go deliver, or people coming in picking up and taking out with the map. There's not gonna be seating there. And I go back to the place is only 1,200 square feet.
Yeah.
By the time they build up their kitchen or if they make their product back there in a counter, there really is no space. If you go in to look at Haven Hot Chicken, it's Five Guys and Starbucks is double the size of the current space that we're seeking to change. So it's impossible to have a sit-down restaurant there.
That's what you couldn't do that. You couldn't
Yeah.
have a sit-down restaurant, they're just 1,200 square feet.
Yes.
So you're not even asking for a table or anything
No,
to sit
no.
down
No.
and wait.
It's takeout.
We're talking about 0 table.
Yeah.
All right, so Alan. Okay, you go ahead.
And Ron?
It's a really nice building. I'm happy with the addition that gives Washington Avenue. I just echo Jim's sentiment. I think this commission needs a basis beyond people just assuring us as to.
The
as to
North Haven
this
line will be
could-
closing in 15 minutes. Please begin to make your final selections and bring them to the circulation desk for checkout.
Basically just a basis to waive the requirement. That's right.
Say that one more time.
I think that, that the commission needs a basis to waive the parking requirement, because what was submitted before seems to show that more spots are needed. If the reality out at the site is that, that this can accommodate this type of establishment that you're talking about, it would be helpful to have the engineer come back with someone that could help this commission base a decision based on that. That's my only comment. I'm not voting, so.
You want to take it out?
No,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead. We didn't speak
We're
first.
good.
I know I already did. So here's my issue. Right now, our regulations only account for one restaurant, one type of restaurant, right? For parking?
That's true, restaurant or not, yes.
Has there been any
Yeah.
thought, and this is a little off topic, but of amending that, considering since zoning has come into being, fast food has evolved? So have we thought about amending anything or adding, I know that we can waive, but then we get into these sort of situations. So
See-
other towns have regulations that don't take into account the whole square footage and tables.
I think the philosophical discussion on that
I
has
majored
been
in philosophy, so
to
let's
put,
do this.
to put the power back in the hands of the commission and not be bound by the regulation. And what Jim and Rod are saying, makes perfect sense in that last time they came in, they provided this document from the engineer, basing it on the ITE standards. Okay, so you gave them something to, I always say, hang their hats on, okay? So it said intuitively, wow, we don't think it's gonna work. However, this guy said it would, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. So this time they're lacking that document. And
Right, but
some would argue that it's
But intuitively,
More than that.
like they're saying, if you drove by there from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock, there's more spaces than not. But, so if their person came back and told us that, what's different from their intuition than ours, except he has a traffic thing,
No.
engineer thing going?
That would be it.
Guy who does that
Like
for a
Five Guys
living.
there, they're
Okay.
5-10 minutes.
I
The
think
Chicken's 5-10 minutes.
post-COVID, I think.
Starbucks 5-10 minutes, they're all out of there.
But post-COVID, things have changed. It's more takeout,
Yeah.
and that's what people have been doing. It's grab and go. They don't even want to sit down and eat there.
One thing that also, since the regulations were, I don't know when they were written, but everybody has apps now. I noticed in Haven Chicken,
Yes.
that people just go in and pick up the bag and they're gone.
Exactly.
So I don't know if the current regulations take that into account, because that wasn't part of it many years ago when this regulation was written.
They don't. There are many things that it doesn't account for, but it's why I encourage folks, and you guys do this all the time. Yale New Haven Hospital over on Divine Street, the shopping centers on Universal Drive. Yeah, I think you take a reasonable approach to parking when there's something that's presented that says, yeah, somebody thinks it'll work. Somebody out there with a degree in that. So I understand that, and we've, in the past we've focused on that and asked for that, but you know, again, I don't want to, if you guys wanted to pass a different reg that classified it all very neatly and said, this is exactly how many spaces you want, I didn't really think that was the best idea. I love that one sentence in there. But it doesn't change Rod and Jim's, you know, statement.
No, they have a good point, but it's
But
still, things are changing. It's very, that's the whole industry, the fast food industry is fluid. It keeps changing, and the amount of time that you're spending in there is a lot less. I don't know if this takes in, the current regs take that into
No,
consideration.
they definitely don't. They just don't.
Okay, but you keep saying that. However, this study was last year,
Yes.
or 2021, I guess 2 years ago. So 2021, I personally think they're gonna have enough spaces. I would suggest if you give me a report that says you don't, I don't know how I ignore that report. And that's what you're asking me to do. Ignore the expert that I gave you last time that said this is how many we need. And you were kind enough to put it in here, which is great.
Because we have nothing to hide.
Huh?
We have nothing to hide.
No, I get it.
So
I understand it, and I think you'll
I
have
know
enough
most of the
there.
commission goes there and has coffee. If you ever had a hamburger, you would notice the place is empty. It's just.
Well, I don't know.
It's
I go
common
there a
sense- it's
lot,
common
as
sense,
you
the
said.
place-
I don't know about empty.
If anybody can speak to this, Jim
Yeah,
Jim
yeah,
Dillon.
I'm there a lot.
He lives there.
And quite honestly, I think you would have enough, but I would feel much better if whoever it is that you hired last time came in and said, you know what? Under the, we used ITE last time, I didn't even know what ITE is. But I said, okay, they've got an argument. Now you've got no argument other than telling me we don't need that many spaces. And that means that every time somebody comes in with an application, just ignore whatever our regulations are or whatever the expert said in the past. And that's the problem I have with it. I think you got plenty, and I hope you get the ice cream place. But I am uncomfortable ignoring the very expert report that was submitted by your applications last time.
But I asked you, would this be the first time you've ever done that?
On the parking issue?
Yes.
I don't, the first time I ever remember somebody coming to me and saying, we gave you a report last time, ignore that. Yes.
So would you ever approve of a parking waiver without a report?
Ever.
Have you ever? So if I hid the report?
Honest to God,
would
I
it-
don't know. I'm not trying to be coy with you.
But at the end of the day, we're just, we're seeking a waiver, and we said, no, we're not hiding it. We put the study in there, we're not hiding it. And just common sense, if anyone went there after 12 will see that.
So, let me ask you a question. Then if that argument is the case, why didn't you do that last time? Just not bother with an expert and just say, hey, guys, we don't need this. Why do we do this?
Because the first time, the last time it came in there, our engineer said, don't even bother, but we paid the money to have the engineer. The place was empty, there was no stores open. So we came back to you with a developed building in progress, and we
Right.
couldn't come back and say, hey, we've been there, everyone's been there, the place is 30% empty. Now the place is empty, the place is built. Prior to that, my engineer did a study because there was nobody knew anything.
This is when they changed one of the spaces, right?
Yeah, where the chicken place is.
It was before a CEO and
They-
anybody moved in there.
Yeah, they
But it was to
changed.
change the original site plan.
Yeah, it was gonna go to a
It had
sub
two
shop
retail
at that
spaces.
time.
Right, yeah,
But
right, yeah.
But it was a change from retail, just as this is proposed.
Yeah.
To restaurant.
And the reason
of
why
some sort.
we did that study
Yeah.
is because the parking lot wasn't even done, so that's why we came there. So now we're in a different situation, the parking lot's done, people have been parking there.
It is what it is.
Get a little more thinking about this application here. Okay, what is your feeling right now, Jim? Really at the bottom line now.
I think we should be hearing from somebody who has the expertise that gave us the last time that says, listen, we didn't need even what ITE says. I don't disagree with you. I think Haven has gotten a little busier, but not very busy. They don't get very many. Your big thing is Starbucks takes up a lot of spaces depending on the day. Interestingly enough, there's an issue sometimes with your Cisco trucks come in and park across the back, which is kind of a headache, but it doesn't take up spaces, they actually take them back.
Yeah, but we bought the house to have an exit over there.
Yeah,
To accommodate-
all I'm saying is he
accommodate-
parks right in the middle of that
Yeah,
back
so we
area,
accommodated.
which you have to go
Yeah.
around, but you need to get your supplies,
Yeah.
okay? Five Guys and Starbucks take up a lot. You've got some spaces that are essentially virtually useless, the ones that come off Blakesley, the ones that are right there, there's occasionally some workers parking in there. So there's probably enough, but it's very difficult to have an application with materials that say the application should be granted.
And Carmen, I think, you know, your point is valid that, you know, I think Jim's saying too, if the report wasn't there, intuitively, he kind of sort of believes it could work, you know?
But my situation is this, according to 8.5.1.6, the commission has discretion.
Oh, he knows that,
And
yeah.
the discretion is common sense too. It's not just a study that doesn't mean anything to this particular site. This has been, for over 8 months, we have been parking going on there. So I guess in terms of me presenting this, I came in with this because with this study I had nothing to hide and I want to show you. However, I was taking for granted the last 8 months of parking there that roughly 30% of those spaces are empty, and I hope the commission would take that into consideration when they make the decision.
5 minutes. Please bring all items to check out at this time. Have a wonderful evening.
Right, anything else?
No.
Teresa?
No,
Paul?
No.
No other questions.
Okay. We'll talk it over in deliberation.
Thank you.
Okay.
There's some question.
Okay, we want to, 79 Washington Avenue. 79 Washington Avenue.
Hello, my name is Amy Stanko. It's S-T-A-N-K-O. And I'm here to represent Just Humboldt. And we don't make tumblers, as Alan had joked about. We are the floor portion of gymnastics. Your cartwheels and backflips. And we've been in business for 11 years in Shelton, and we're looking to open our second location in North Haven. The current space that we're looking at is right next to Stop and Shop, in the Stop and Shop Plaza.
To the left or right?
Can you shut the door, please?
To the left. To the left. It's in between Stop and Shop and the paper store. And that space has never been occupied since the building was built. It's been completely empty. It's a complete blank slate. So we are looking to turn it into our second location and just need the approval for the usage. And I don't know what other kind of information that you guys would like.
Couple of questions. What, are you gonna have just mats inside, or it's just?
Yes, so they're, thick mats that you see gymnastics performed on in like the Olympics. And other than bathrooms and an office, it'll just be one wide open area with mats.
Okay, no counter.
There'll be a front
Okay,
desk for people to
yeah.
check in, just a little front desk, and
Okay, and this is empty now? That you're saying?
completely empty. Yep.
Good, thank you.
You said this is one of the units that's never been rented?
Never been
Really?
rented, never been developed,
Excellent.
there's no bathrooms in it yet. It's just completely cinder blocks and a cement floor.
Teresa?
No, I'm fine with this. No questions.
I'm good.
Right.
Do you have a rough idea of your hours of operation?
We open right now, for summer camps, we open at 8:30 in the morning. The rest of the year, we open 9:30. And then we close about 8:30 at night. And our busiest time is from after school time, 4 o'clock to 8, when it's not too late for kids to go to bed, it's not too fast to get there after school.
Okay.
more curiosity, would it be available for, rent, like if you wanted a kid's party, will they be doing that kind of stuff there as well?
Yes, we do
Okay.
birthday parties as well.
Okay,
We do.
more curiosity, thank you.
John?
What's the capacity in there? How many kids at one time? Is it, you have classes or?
It's, the square footage of this space is 9,300 square feet, which is just slightly smaller than what we have in Shelton. So we have 3 different sections of mats going on, and our classes are about 10 to 15 kids each.
Okay, thank you.
My presumption is that it was approved as retail, so while there was no prior tenant, they're changing from retail to the gymnastics studio.
I'm sure it was retail before. So we're okay to go. Anybody else got anything else?
No.
Okay, all
Thank you
right,
so
so
much.
do I stay or do I go?
You could
You can stay
stay,
if you wanna hear what happened.
Okay.
You don't have to.
Okay, I'll stay.
you could call in the morning if you like.
No, it's okay.
87 State Street, I'm here from Revised Look. Is our advisor guy here?
Hi, my name is John Brandon Benevento, and most people here, if you know me as Brandon. I own the Kings Acre Shopping Center on State Street, 85 State Street, among other addresses. I'm seeking a change of use for, I think I have 2. I think the first one is 85D, is that right? Oh, no, 87, I'm sorry.
87, yeah.
So that's, it's a current tenant that's simply moving spaces, they're downsizing, so they're moving like 2 stores over in the front building, which is an older strip mall. It's the Advisor, which is a newspaper. So the last space, the space you're moving into had been occupied by a consignment store.
Okay.
I guess we address both.
It's the same building.
It is
but-
the same building. There's 2 buildings on the property, so the next one will be the back building, but this is from the front building to another space in the front building. It's,
right.
yeah, it's literally like 2 spaces.
So
They're
the
going,
advisor's just moving over?
yeah,
those
they're going like
spaces?
south by 100 feet, so.
No, I'm good.
Good, good.
Good.
I'm fine. Fine.
Okay, good enough. Thank you very much.
No, I asked you to
I
say.
know we got one more to go.
No.
That's good on that one.
Boom times.
Okay, 85D.
Okay, so this is a new tenant that's coming into, there's a back building at that property, which is mostly warehouse spaces. Some of them have little offices in the front. The outgoing tenant was actually not a great fit for the building. It had been like a counseling service, and they're gone. And this tenant that's incoming is much more in keeping with it. It's an auction, clean out auction person. I did all 2 people like a partner, 2 partners that clean spaces out, and then I think they also have occasionally people come and pick stuff up that they sell on eBay. But it's basically warehouse space, as far as I understand it.
So they're not gonna be selling from out there, they're gonna be.
Only in terms of people that come to get stuff that they've already bought.
Okay.
There's no retail going into the front of it at all.
And it says storage, all the storage is inside the building.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely nothing outside. Known for taking anything outside.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good.
Fine.
Everybody's good.
Good version.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks so much. Okay, we get down to 380 Washington Avenue, Unit 2. Okay. Peter? You're up, sir.
Good evening. My name is Peter Strato. I'm looking for a change of use at 380 Washington Avenue, Unit 2 from, I guess currently is vacant into a retail location. Currently I'm looking to open up a little small shop to sell personal security devices.
You want to explain to us a little bit, just exactly what you do, Peter?
Sure. So currently what I'm looking to do is at the location to provide service for clients, mostly women that want to either carry like pepper spray, electronic devices, like sun devices. Also want to be able to show them with what's called inert sprays, which like kind of sprays a mist in the air to show them how to actually use it in a defensive situation. So that's kind of what we're looking to do. Also, we also have devices that people can carry, especially like college students, that they will wear like keychain if they were to be attacked or anything like that, or suspect that someone's gonna grab on them. They just pull it and it just like sends out like a large like beeping sound to kind of discourage them from, possibly touching
So
them.
what does that go
like
right
that.
into their face or
Say
something?
again?
Does that go right into their face? You pull it?
No, it's just an alarm. So they pull it, keychain, and it just sounds off.
Oh, I see,
Right,
okay.
so it's like to scare off any would-be attacker.
Okay, so you're gonna handle any kind of defensive equipment you're gonna handle?
Correct, so it's like personal devices for people. Not alarms, I know that the owner currently is on the corner, he does like security alarms and stuff like that. But it's just more for personal protection.
Okay. Well,
So, you mentioned a few things for personal protection. Do you have any idea, any plans of increasing what you sell in there? The types of products?
Maybe by brand. So there's different manufacturers that make it. So I'm gonna start off just to keep it simple as business starts to grow. I might have 1 or 2 different types of brands. Like currently, right now, there's one called like a Bad Guy Repellent, and then there's the actual company called Mace. That's what everyone refers to, Mace.
Now, is there an age limit, age requirement for?
Yeah, so 18 and over in the state of Connecticut, for any type of mace that you're gonna be carrying. If it's an electronic device, will be 21 and over.
Electronic device,
Yeah,
like a stun gun?
like a stun. So 21 and over, if they wanna possess it outside in the street.
Are there any background checks that are needed for that?
No,
that?
for ownership, no.
Okay. Not my question.
Brian?
Those answer my questions.
Oh, took care of you?
Yep.
I'm good.
Okay.
Same.
You're good?
Good, yep, thank
Okay,
you.
Jen? Oh,
Okay. Well, you got me
you
up.
were Jim.
What?
You were Jim.
Me. Okay, so personal security, safety devices, that would be guns as well.
I'm sorry?
Guns,
No.
no
Correct.
this month, but well, I'm putting it right out here, guys. This
I'm
is
not
a-
looking to sell any firearms, no.
Okay, but you could come back again, a personal security device could be considered a gun. Yes?
No. A firearm is a firearm. You would need to get a state license.
Okay, which I think
A
you
firearm, I
have,
would have
yes?
to get regulated through the state of
But
Connecticut.
you have a license to sell guns, yes?
No,
You don't own a gun store now?
no, I do not.
You do not, but you were here, okay.
Right.
You didn't come,
No, like,
but it was proposed.
it was proposed at another location
Right.
to be able to put a little small counter to be able to sell firearms, correct?
Okay, so here's this is it, guys, I got approached a couple of times. I'm gonna address this, I mean, mace, pepper spray. I think, again, I'm gonna ask the chairman to bring this to a public hearing, because I got approached by a couple of people who wanted to know, they recognize the name, they recognize that it's personal safety devices, mace, can it come back again at a later date, or come back for a change of use for guns? I think it needs to be discussed. I'm gonna ask you to take it for public hearing.
So
That's my request.
if it required me to come back to the to the board, to
The commission, yeah.
to the commission to address, if I were even thinking about that, which I am not, then that can be handled with a public hearing at that time.
No, not if you come for a change of use, I would have to request that again. You came for a change of use for retail last time. The only reason that the public was going to be able to speak is because our chairman respected the wishes of the townspeople who
Mhm.
wanted to be heard. If you came for a change of use, no, you wouldn't necessarily have to come for a public hearing unless you did that again.
Right, but I'm not here for a gun store.
Okay, no, but you're here for personal security devices.
Correct.
Listen, we never sold mace and pepper spray and stun guns in the town right now. I'm gonna request that our chairman
Okay, okay. I got that.
put that, okay, thank you.
Jim?
So, let me kind of flesh out the personal protection devices as well. Because I hear you saying no firearms.
Correct.
Any weapons at all or as personal protection devices?
Or pepper spray would be considered, I guess,
I'm
on
not worried about, I hear you. I appreciate that. I think you can buy, I don't know where you can buy pepper spray, you know, but knives,
No.
so you wouldn't be able to sell what I would consider a weapon. You can't sell a
I
knife.
would, that's not, I'm not looking to sell any knives or anything like that.
She said stun guns. Is stun gun a protection, personal
Correct,
protection
yes.
device? So
That's
you
done,
wouldn't
that's an
be
electronic device.
Selling,
Correct.
selling stun guns.
Those are devices people can pretty much
Yeah.
purchase anywhere. They don't need to go to get any special requirement.
Where could you, so give
Any-
me an example?
If a grocery store can just have it in the grocery store and sell it.
I've never seen one of these.
I'm just saying as a hypothetical, so you're
Where,
saying like
but you kind of have.
people
some-
could buy it on Amazon,
You can buy a stun
online.
gun on Amazon?
Correct.
Can you really?
Correct, yeah, you go check it right on your phone at Amazon, put stun gun, the taser.
Can you
get
buy a
shipped right to
stun gun
your
at
home.
Walmart?
I don't
I
think
just
carry.
thought you, this is a field you have
Correct.
some expertise in, I have none.
Right, I don't know if they have, I know Walmart sells knives.
They sell knives.
Correct, right in the sporting section.
Yeah.
And they sell ammunition as well.
Not all.
Which one? The only ones that I know of in Connecticut that do not sell, oh, I didn't say sell guns. They sell ammunition in majority of the Walmarts in Connecticut. I think in the whole state, there's probably maybe 2 Walmarts that sell long guns, no pistols,
Yeah,
like shotgun rifles, like up in Torrington or something like that.
Is a stun gun like a taser where it sticks, shoots
Right,
barbs in?
so it's 2 different things, so yes, no. So stun gun is stun gun, so stun gun is used to make contact, right? So if you grabbed on me and I needed to try to get off you, then I press the button, it has that little shock, and I can touch you to have you release me. A taser would, pretty much something similar to what police carry, right? It throws 2 prongs, it's to keep distance. So if you're trying to attack me, I could then discharge it. It just shoots out the 2 needles, shocks you for 30 seconds, then allows the person to just run away. So the idea is to keep distance. If I have to deploy because you're really trying to harm me, then gives me time to get to safety.
Okay. So what?
And you kind of only get 1 shot at it, and then some of those devices would work as a stun gun. So if I missed, and then you grab me, then I might be able to shock you. But not all the devices work the same.
So would these devices that shoot out the prongs like a taser, would that be among the things you're selling, or are you only selling the close contact one where you have?
No, yes, tasers as well.
Tasers as well.
Right, because Taser's the brand, but the one that kind of built it, and also that the law enforcement, it's not the exact same models the law enforcement has, because theirs work differently. Theirs will work at like about a 5-second interval where it'll stop, cut off, allow the cops to then handcuff the person. But as a civilian, you don't want a 5-second, you need time to get away. So it's about a 30-second shock, so then you can drop the device and then run away. They also have an app where it'll notify the taser team, if you link to it, that you deployed it. It'll send the police to they kind of sync you to a GPS location of your phone, if the phone is still on you.
Question on, you're gonna be doing training, you said, you show them how to use this?
Yeah, so in the location, there's a room, so I'll just put like a mannequin.
Yeah.
So most people that buy mace, they never tried it, right? They order it, they buy one, and then they just keep it in their pocketbook, and they never actually try it.
So, is your plan, you're doing training, is your plan to do firearms training as well there?
No.
Brian, you got the same. You okay?
No questions, Vern.
I have a question just while you're here. So to sell firearms, and I realize that's not what you're asking to do, you need a license and the person needs a license to buy it.
That's correct.
Okay. To sell someone a stun gun, or let's just say a taser, you don't need a license to sell them?
Correct.
And they don't need a license to buy them?
Correct.
Okay, but they'd have to be over the age of 21?
Correct, so I
Or
would
21,
check an ID.
21 or over. So who enforces that?
What enforces which part?
So, suppose you sold one, if you sell a beer to someone who's 20 years old, they have Bureau of
So I
Alcohol,
would
Tobacco.
assume- No, so that's
Yeah.
not regulated by the ATF.
Okay.
I guess local law enforcement, if there was a so if I was carrying, I guess if I was under the age and I was caught by law enforcement, then obviously they should know the law. If they were to know you're under 21 after checking your verification, then they would arrest the person.
So what requires that people be over 21?
Connecticut state law.
There's a statute that says
Correct.
to possess, so what does it say? Stun guns, what does it say?
Right, if you want to carry a stun gun or taser.
Stun gun or taser.
Right,
that's
well,
what
they
I'm
don't,
talking
it kind of says like a non-lethal electronic device, something like that, it's kind of the, right.
Yeah,
So
that's-
the idea is, a stun gun's not really designed to, it's not presenting deadly force to
Not
kill
supposed to kill
someone, right?
somebody,
You're so, now, can someone have an effect from it?
No, I
Can
know,
someone
I
affect some
understand.
pepper
We all
spray?
read it, yeah.
Right, so obviously you don't want to spray someone directly in the eye, even though you want to get them around the face to get the eyes to swell, to get them to be able to get away to safety. But, you know, there, obviously, they would be in a separate, I would have something separately where they can then, you know, kind of practice how to use it before they actually took it. Because again, most people do not, that carry it, have not even they don't even know how to spray it.
Yeah, right.
They just know, okay, let me get to it, and they don't realize some you have to flip the top press, some you have to turn the knob to press. So that's kind of the service I'm looking to provide.
But you could go in, just buy it and walk out, you don't have to be trained, or you can just go in, be trained, and then walk out with a taser stun gun, just right on Washington Avenue with it. You just walk into the parking lot.
Yeah, anyone can do that. You can do that online. This is something you just order on the website. If you just on your phone, go to Amazon, put taser. So that's not really the concern. The idea we're looking to, and then also felons are already prohibited from carrying one anyway. But that doesn't stop them from ordering it online because you can order it. This is not regulated where I have to present an ID to get it. Obviously, I'm gonna be making sure I'm IDing someone that's 21 and over, and 18 and over.
So Pete, would
Yeah.
you would then check to see if somebody was a felon if you were selling them a taser?
No, we don't do background checks. So if you're a felon, you go on Amazon, you could just order it. It's just if you're caught in possession in the street with it, that's prohibited. I don't even think there's a statute saying you're prohibited from owning one in the home. It's just if you want to carry one, you're prohibited.
The felon would be
Correct. If you're a felon, if you're carrying one, then you're prohibited. But there's nothing in statute that I found that you can't even own one. So I couldn't even do a background check because it's not a regulated firearm. Right, that's something to say, even if it was a gun store, obviously, if you're a firearm owner, you went to the gun store, they run a background check through the state, they run transfer, they check it both FBI and state to see if you're prohibited, to deny a sale. This is not that, so.
So you say no knives, but I've seen these things where the people carry, and they're like a cat claw or something that they squeeze and the claws come out.
Yeah, I would think that would be, I don't know for sure, but I think that would be illegal. That's not what I'm looking.
All right.
I'm looking for stuff for
Okay.
people to be safe with, to carry, to prevent an attack.
Well, they sell that online too.
Huh?
They sell that on Amazon too.
They sell a lot of things on Amazon.
Are there any other things, so we said mace, pepper spray, and stun guns and tasers. Is there any other category of thing that you would see that you would sell?
I don't know, I guess over the years, as people create more, better options for people to defend themselves. So maybe, but that's not what's on my plan, because obviously to get inventory is very expensive. So I'm looking to start off with just name brand stuff, a small collection of things where I don't want to be overwhelmed with a bunch of different SKUs. So I'm just starting off with something simple that I know people know, and that kind of things that they would want.
Now, that button that alerts when somebody's attacked, they press the button, does that, you know what decibel levels they're talking about?
I think
or
it's
is it something?
120, 130, something like that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so it's not, it's loud, the idea is to kind of, They created that, it's not for, oh my God, you know, it's like gonna hurt me, let me not come next to you, it's more draw attention, look, what's that sound, let people see what's happening, and then, you know, hopefully that person would then not want to
It's like
do
a car
something to
alarm.
you, just kind of try to run away.
I think we gotta wait a second.
Questions, more questions?
More questions? I don't worry about it. I know what Teresa and Jim is on this, and Rob. I don't know what the rest of the commission is, but.
Jim wants to say something.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I have a quick question. What is your background? And you have a background in this stuff?
Correct, so, well, not, I just got certified to deal with, had to go out of those, so we get to learn how to, deal with, pepper spray.
So
do that.
certified from whom?
From,
I don't understand how this all works.
All right, so there's different organizations that
Yeah.
deal with, manufacturers, right? So right now, Taser does their own self-certification, them themselves. They have a civilian branch and also a law enforcement branch. They kind of same people do the training, but then they'll certify instructors to train the civilian market. Then they'll certify, like if North Haven PD, obviously I believe they have tasers, so they'll have like a training officer that they will certify.
So, but have you been in this field? That's what I'm
Correct.
asking.
So I am, a few things I am in my background. I am a firearms instructor.
You're a firearms instructor?
Correct. I'm also a business owner, so I have a small mattress company that I supply mattresses for veterans.
Okay.
And I also have an apparel company, so it's not just firearms, but this is something else I'm also gonna be doing.
So not just firearms training, you don't have a firearms store, you said, right?
No, I don't
You
sell
do
firearms, no.
training.
I wanted to be able to do it. Obviously, the public came out.
Right.
They weren't in favor of it. So that's not what I'm here for.
I get that.
Right.
What I'm asking is your background. Have you
Correct.
done firearms training in the past?
Correct.
You have?
For 4.5 years.
And where
I'm
did you
certified
do
through the USCCA, the NRA. Those are the two main biggest organizations. Actually, the only two organizations in the country
I get
that
it.
certify instructors.
So where did you do that before?
What do you mean?
Firearms training? Where location?
The firearms training, the
Yeah.
hands-on I do in Delta Arsenal, located in Wallingford.
You still do that?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was asking. So, but the personal defense systems, you've done training in that before, or this is new to you?
This is a new area I'm getting into.
Jim, you good?
Yeah.
Who more?
No.
I just want to make sure we have a pretty full picture of your inventory that you plan on right now. We've covered all the bases. I'm thinking maybe you can sell any articles of clothing like body armor or boots or
No,
helmets or anything.
because you gotta be a gun dealer.
I see.
You have to go to the state of Connecticut.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
I have a hypothetical, and I don't mean to jump out in front of anything, but would you be agreeable if the commission were to approve it, to put a condition of approval on it that said that any sale of knives or firearms would require coming back to this commission for approval with a public hearing?
Sure, first, let me say, I'm not here for that, so I just,
We understand.
you know, but it keeps coming up, that's why, you know.
To us
So,
too.
And I
Peter,
addressed it.
you
I'm
gotta
not here.
understand,
Yeah.
excuse me, you gotta understand, it keeps coming up, because you were here 3 months ago.
Correct.
You know, trying to, or intending to, open a store to sell and train firearms. So certainly it's on everybody's mind here, you might want to do this somewhere else, I just wanna be a little bit cautious.
Right, no, I
You know,
understand.
and not questioning you,
Yeah, no, I just was saying, I'm a person of character.
yep.
If I would've came to the hearing, for the public hearing, had I intentions to continue to go forward, to sell firearms, I would address any concerns that anyone had. It wasn't gonna be like a huge store like normally you would see. It was just something like a boutique style counter, small items. It wasn't even, I don't even know what was put out there in the street. But it's totally the opposite of what everyone was thinking. I was asked if I was gonna be shooting in the ring, in the store, in a little office, which was, you know, so obviously it wasn't none of that. But anyway, nonetheless, I'm not here for that. I am here for what I'm looking to do.
Okay.
You know, I have other businesses that I do, and obviously it has nothing to do with firearms, but.
Well, when we get through questioning here, when the commission is satisfied, I'm gonna go to the commission because I'm not sure where they stand, Peter. I just wanna be sure that you understand that, you know, I'm not gonna have if we need to have a public hearing to get you to open your store. I want you to open your store for say, but I don't wanna go against the grain anywhere. But if people in town do not want this type of thing in town, they want to know about it, that's all. But we're gonna discuss it in deliberation.
No, I
And this
understand.
is nothing that everybody gets in deliberation, okay? So
No
that's where
problem.
we're gonna go with this.
Okay.
We're going to deliberation. So when they're through, that's where we're going.
No problem. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, we're gonna try to
Oh,
find
I'm
that
sorry.
out right now. But you certainly enlightened me considerably. You got any questions now?
I'm good.
No? Good one.
It's good, Vern.
Good.
Yeah, you may have a bit of a procedural issue, though. I don't know that if you're going to entertain what Teresa was saying, I think you gotta do that before you get to deliberations. Is that right, or is that not right? What do you think?
Well, I guess you could table it in deliberations, subject to the public hearing. I know, but
You might
Yeah.
be right on it, and we might have to take this but I do wanna discuss
It's
it
a-
in open forum now. You know,
Well, we're gonna be open no
Yeah,
matter
well,
what.
we're open right now.
We're not hiding anything.
Yeah, but
The issue is, to be honest, the issue is the tasers, quite frankly. And I think I don't know that the public has any sense that that's what we're talking about, which is, I'm giving credence to what Teresa is saying. The other things don't bother me, and I hear what you're saying about the tasers too, being available out. I didn't know you could buy them on Amazon or Bezos, but I believe them. It's an interesting issue. So the question is, so if you're saying we can do it in deliberations, I'm perfectly fine to wait for deliberations to see what everybody thinks.
we're good deliberation, aren't we?
depending on what you do, you could be. There may be a way to do
So
it.
The question is like, if you're, what we did the last time before you got here,
Yeah,
not
but
on
we
this
didn't get
application,
there.
the old application, we said, okay, that needs to go to a public hearing, so the public can put input. So we said that before we got to any deliberations.
We'll take care of
The
this
question
right
is,
now.
do we have to do it again? I don't care whether we do it now or in deliberations, I don't care. I mean,
What do you think about it? Give me what you think.
So, my gut is that we should let the public give comment. I don't mean to hold them up, and interestingly, I thought he had some constitutional arguments the last time.
I
And
didn't
come forward.
address them now, but.
And maybe so now. But I think, you know, it was such a hot button item, and now to hear and what's heard, what it is, I think there's gonna be some pretty intense public interest, quite frankly. And I'm always in favor of letting people come in here and yell at us, which they do with some regularities. So that's my gut feeling, is that we should probably do that.
Part of it is the public hasn't heard what he has to say, and they don't understand it, so I agree that, I think it would be,
Would it be in the public's interest to bring this to the public? You agree with that? Okay.
I think it should go to the public too.
Go to the public? No.
sorry, I don't want to delay you either, but it's just, I think if you explain.
Hold on,
my
hold on,
point-
hold on, Peter.
You know how,
Okay,
I already heard from the public.
Are you comfortable with that, Peter?
Not
I'm just
really.
asking you.
Yeah.
No.
You're not?
No,
Okay.
because I think the board is being biased towards me for the last request. The last request, I could have just.
That's what I said.
Well, yeah, for the public hearing the
Yeah.
first time, even after speaking with council that same day, and I decided not to say anything, they told me I didn't even need requirement from the board because the state of Connecticut, the Connecticut Supreme Court already ruled that a town can't regulate a gun store. It has to be done on a state level.
Okay.
Now, you could zone it, as long as it's in a retail zoning area. I could have just gone ahead and done it, and I didn't do it. You can look it up on the, it was a case out of New Haven that they tried to do the very same thing to stop a person from opening the store. And then the Connecticut State Supreme Court ruled in favor that town cannot regulate a store because it's preempted through the state level and the ATF. But even with all that, I decided to withdraw my request. I think I did the right thing. The public didn't want it in the area. One of the concerns was it's in the center of town. This is not firearms. It's not in the center of town. It's up the road, further up. I think the board should take consideration what I've done in the past, for the last hearing, just withdrawing that. I could have came forward looking for another store for a gun. I was told that if it was a different location, that they would consider that. If this is a different location and it's not a store, the first selectman even actually encouraging me for my new idea that I want to do at 380 Washington. He even mentioned to the news reporter that just that part of town he doesn't want a store, but he would be open to other areas in the town. But again, I'm not here for a gun store. I just think you're holding that against me, and that's the reason.
I don't think anybody's holding that against you at all.
What? That's my feeling.
Well, that's my feeling.
Right. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. This is not firearms, and that's where I think. I think the board should make a decision today, you know.
We can make a decision today up here, but we want to make a fair decision. I want to make a fair decision. And if you don't think so, by all means tell me you think I'm not being fair. I think I'm being very fair. And I just want everybody to have in at this. And if you're some of the commissioners on this board or on this commission is saying that they would like to have the town have their input in it. And there's many might see it the other way around.
I mean, there's
But as far as
members,
being biased against you, it's absolutely not true.
right, there's members of this commission when we've had the marijuana, and that now is okay and legal in the state, and we have members of this commission who don't want that in our town. So it's nothing personal against you, people in this commission just have different beliefs.
You know,
It's a tough one.
I'm sorry.
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
It is a tough.
I'm just trying to provide a service.
I understand.
Your residents here are carrying the stuff already. They have absolutely no way of knowing how to actually use it. And I just want to be able to provide that service, just to make it a safer community. You know, just, that's really what I'm trying to do.
So let me say this to you. If you weren't telling me that you were doing stun guns, I wouldn't be saying, let's just approve it. But the stun guns worry me. And I think they're gonna worry some people. And when they see this, we're gonna hear from them. Whichever, that's not your concern. It's not really technically ours, but we're here to do what's right for the town. And it's gonna be, to me, it's got the potential to be a hot button. When, that's the same thing as it was with the guns. I understood your argument. You didn't even come make it, but I understood what it would be. And you might be right. We didn't get an opinion from town council, whether we had to do it. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened. But I mean, that's kind of why I would personally like to get input from the town. I get why you would not. He's asking you to agree. If you don't agree, and I don't blame you, I wouldn't in your
Yeah, I just,
do it either.
you know, I'm already in, looking forward to get the location open.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just want to say, that, Peter, you made some good points. You cleared up some things with me. When I first saw this change of use, I said, I want to make sure we're not trying to, sneak something in. I'm take your word for that. There's been a lot of public outcry. We get, people stop us when we're on the street or in the store or whatever, and they give their opinions on this, and I'm watching some television now, but you cleared up some questions I had, so
But I'll
That was good.
I'll tell you right now, I am not looking to do anything with firearms. No sales of firearms. I'm looking to sell.
I think the commission believes everything you said, to be honest with you. I think they do. But I also think that the commission is they are very sensitive to what townspeople feel, and sensitive to what they have to say. Peter. Brian?
Yeah, Peter, once again, thank you for clarifying things. We all heard a bunch of things that were around, but, you know, we don't pay attention to those. We pay attention to what we hear here. And I think I'd like to hear from the people of the town come out and talk. Alan had a wonderful idea, if we could do that possibly, you know, saying that was a condition of approval. But I think the people of the town would like to come out and have you explain what you like to do, and we just articulate it as you did today to them, and we'll see what happens then.
We haven't gone anywhere yet.
I got no comment.
No. Yep.
I do,
Step over there for now.
I do somewhat have a question, again, just pondering how this would go. If this was, let's say, just held open or continued for, subject to opportunity to get
Informational.
public information
Right.
on. Would,
That's where I was going.
what does that mean, and would Peter have the opportunity, if we get the public together, to make his presentation to them and then have the public input? Is that what you envisioned, or just open it up?
I'm not following. If you just keep it open, it's our traditional change of use. Public can't come and make comments to us, then, correct? What we did last
Right.
time was make it into a public hearing, right?
You did in the public interest, there's public interest in it, so you're gonna call for a public hearing, which my understanding is you're right, so you could do that. I just wondering, Peter came here, I don't know how long it's been, but he's spoken for a half hour, 45 minutes, whatever. Would that be repeated for those folks to hear it?
Well, they'll know.
Or could we just ask for public comment at one of our hearings, not necessarily make it be a public hearing, but ask for public comment on a particular subject?
You mean tell them to send letters?
No, after you come, but we'd ask for public comment on a particular subject, but not necessarily a certain application.
Not relating to his application specifically, but
Right.
just to deal with personal protective devices
Right.
and firearms as a general topic.
Kinda like we did that with marijuana, didn't we? We didn't have
You did,
applications.
but you
we
didn't
had-
have an application, so what happens to Peter
Well,
if
we
you do?
tabled that, listened to comment by the public, and then, okay, I'm trying to find a workaround.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Hold on a second. Peter, if in fact this goes for a public hearing or for public input to the commission, you are gonna want you're gonna wanna be able to have the opportunity to bring what you have to say further into the discussion, aren't you?
What, how else would they know? It'll be the rumor mill again.
Okay,
Like the
that's
first
what
time.
I'm saying to you.
Right,
You'll
so
have-
everyone
you'll have-
was,
you'll have
they were
the crowd
thinking all
room.
types of things. Right, they thought it was a shooting range.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
what
understand.
was in their minds. I don't know who spread the rumors, right? But since I wasn't able to address it at night,
No, you.
because, right, it was. the
But I think we're here now,
Yeah.
and we're talking informally here, and I just wanna make sure, you know, if we're gonna do something, you have the opportunity to do what you want to do in respect to
Well,
this
they
application.
would need to understand what it is, because if not, just saying, hey, guys, it's putting a thing in the newspaper, show up, give public
He'd
comment,
need to
do you
present
want tasers,
first
you know?
and-
The town's gonna say, we don't want
Explain
anything,
what it is.
you know? I would prefer and politely request, for a vote on my approval tonight.
I'm glad that's what you said. I appreciate you coming out and saying that. I know exactly what you want. And we'll take it right to the commission.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Going right into deliberations, or do you want
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Let's take a 10-minute break. 10-minute break, that's all.
I'll make a motion to go into
We're back.
deliberation.
Second.
Jim, okay, that was quicker than I.
Got it.
All in favor?
All in favor? Oh, all in favor, I'm sorry.
Good job.
Okay, take the first one, the 23, and this is John Zerwin. A small building down at United Church.
Endless
I'd like a motion to, say again?
The endless improvements to Metro.
Yep. Joe, Jim, motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve 23-07.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, change a charging station, 2308. It's a charging station, they gave us all the rundown on it, and that's really what it's all about, it's just it. Can I get a motion to approve, Teresa?
Motion to approve basis.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. 23-9, 50 McDermott Drive. Jim, they want to waive sidewalks.
Well, so let's talk about that just for a second. So I get it, up the corner, down the block, there are some sidewalks. You know I want sidewalks. But if everybody else thinks we don't need them, then I'm okay.
Okay, what do you think, Teresa?
I think, knowing the area and, whatever, if something were to happen, maybe Rabeshi, I don't see the need for sidewalks there right now.
Okay.
I'm okay with
What do you
it.
think?
Same thing, I agree.
Okay, can a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
With the waiver of
With the waiver.
sidewalks.
Yes,
This is the waive the sidewalk.
yes, with the waiver.
We'll waive the sidewalk. Brian, second?
I'll second that
Wait,
motion.
Brian,
Oh,
wait.
Who's making the motion, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry?
Paul.
Aye.
Paul.
And I'll second the motion. To wait.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll take care of that. Very good. Now we're on the tree. Whatever they are here. This is the provision under other. Now, 80 Broadway West. They want to, they want to enlarge by 4 feet, I believe.
No, actually 16 feet.
6 feet?
16.
16.
Huh?
16 feet.
Oh, 16.
I'll make a motion to approve, and I, applaud them, they're saving the tree there still, so
Yeah.
I make a motion.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. Go down to, no extensions, or down to no binding leases. We're on 144 already, 144 Washington Avenue. That is the strip mall that we had such great discussion on, which I didn't get in on. But, this strip mall, we all know that if in fact we ask them to go back and get an engineer, or their engineer, to say that yes, it's okay for another 2 parking places or whatever it amounts to there exactly, I'm not sure. But in any event, they're gonna come back with a positive, I believe they would.
We don't all know that.
I know that, we don't know that, but I feel comfortable saying that. So.
Okay, but you started with, we all know that.
No, okay,
We don't know.
well, all right, I'm gonna cut you out. So in any event, I do feel comfortable on approving this change of use on 144 Washington Avenue. Now, I wanna hear what the rest of you have to say in respect to this, so.
So you really only want to hear from me? From
No,
what I
no,
think
no, that's not true.
I,
That's not true.
So-
All I wanna do is get it out there.
That's,
again, I'm not, like Jim, I'm not, an expert on the parking, but I don't see any harm in approving that for fast food.
so let me tell you the difficulty I'm having.
Okay.
And that is, they asked me this. I have never, or I can never recall,
Right, see.
approving an application for something that the materials they submitted shows isn't allowed.
I know, Jim.
The very stuff they gave us says they don't have enough spaces. Do I believe they have enough spaces? Do I want to hurt these people? No. But the last time they came in with an expert that said they have enough spaces under, not our regulations, but ITC, TIC, whatever the heck it is. I said, okay, well, that's fine. But that was predicated on one space being retail. You can take that one out and make it into a restaurant, and it doesn't fit within their own materials. That's the problem I have. I don't want not to bring in whatever ice cream place it is. I think, the place works fine. I haven't had a hard time parking at Starbucks, and I go there all the time. I went there tonight when Starbucks started. But I think there's a reason that we had an expert the last time, and I think there should have been an expert this time saying, listen, you could ignore what I told you last time, 2 years ago, because everything has changed, the market has changed. Maybe it is time to look at our parking regulations. We're not gonna do it, but maybe it is time.
Yeah, maybe this time.
But that's the problem I have. I don't wanna hurt them any more than anybody else on this board wants to hurt them.
But anyways,
But I have a problem with approving.
you're thinking you might change your mind and.
Go that far, man. Don't push, I'm in the middle.
All right, Teresa.
And Jim, I'm sorry, you don't think that intuitively you know more than the parking exit?
Intuitively,
expert?
I think I know more than everybody.
Could that carry you through this?
I do, and I believe intuitively, but there's a reason we hired these people. Now, as much as I was knocking Vern for what he's saying, you hire experts, the one that shows up says the thing you want them to say. I'm not saying they're not telling the truth, I'm just saying that there's a way you do things. Okay, fine. But at least then we have the basis. What I'm saying is, if somebody looks at this record and says, this is what was submitted, and they ignored all that and said, okay, so that I have a problem with that.
I think the thing Jim was looking for were alternate facts, that's what they call
I
it,
don't
but
know
anyway.
facts. I was looking for an expert to say.
All right, so I wish that the expert did come. I really wish they had come. That being said, I strongly think we should look at the parking regulations, and as much as we can intuitively look at them, it would be nice if we had something for applicants to go off of, never mind this commission. I think applicants would be well served by being able to look at what a fast food or an ice cream place is different than a Ludell's, so.
Okay.
All right, but that being said, I am in favor of this because intuitively I can see that it works, and I think that if we had the correct or different regulations, we probably wouldn't be in this position right now. So that's my feeling, okay?
Good. Thank you. I got a question on what, how you looking? Paul?
Yeah, I agree with that.
You agree with Teresa?
Well, I agree that intuitively, that it'll work, because you see it working.
Good.
And, last thing I wanna do is hold up,
Good. Good?
yes.
Okay. Right.
Well, once again, they're gonna go and they're gonna follow what the police chief said about the signage.
The signage is going on.
And I think the parking, as
That's
Paul
coming
said, now people with apps coming in, just flashing their phone and coming in and out, bang, bang. And again, I'm gonna not deal with the parking regulations, but I think it will work. I do.
Okay. Hearing what we had to say there, I want to put in, along with this, I'd like a motion to approve the way it was presented to us with the police chief's sign being posted on the property, the way he's suggesting it does to the drawing. Can I get a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can I get a second? Teresa, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I have three of those.
One opposed. Okay, thank you very much. Now we go right down to 79 Washington Avenue. There's a lady that wants to put a gym in there, I guess, and I'd like to get a motion to approve the change of use from whatever it is now.
I'll make a motion to approve from retail to tumbling.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't think I'd ever hear that.
It is tumbling, yes. And I got a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Right, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Everybody.
Very good, everybody. Everybody approved that one. Okay, now we go to 79 State Street, 79 State, that's the advisor.
87. 87.
87.
87, yeah, 85. 87 State Street. Can I get a motion to approve as it was presented?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 87, 85D State Street. This is where the, I guess, warehouse or something.
Yep.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we get to 380 Washington Avenue. This is where we just heard gentleman give us a rundown and an education on what we should and shouldn't do here, and his take on this. And I think he did a real good job in educating us, I can tell you that. But I am certainly not convinced on anything totally, so I'm willing to hear what you have to say. Paul?
Well, again, Peter did a good presentation. So just I think that you know, to open up a business, as long as it's the way it's presented, I don't really take issue with it. But I do have the thought that we have a responsibility to the people in the town to make sure we're making decisions that don't harm them.
Yeah.
So that's where I am.
What are you thinking?
Well, once again, this is a big issue. It really is. And it's a big issue from 2 points of view. One, the people of town would like to be able to defend themselves in that manner. And two, the people of town, I believe they would like to speak on it. And as a member of this commission, I'd like to hear from the people of the town. So I think that's where we should lead it and go from there.
Okay.
I think we should hear from people in the town.
Jim?
It's a tough one. I actually feel for them. It's hard to not say you don't want to hear from everybody in town, because people should be able to come in always. I got to tell you, I had said when I first got on this commission, we should allow public comment on our site plans. I don't understand why somebody can put something right next to somebody's house, because in a commercial area, they don't get to come in and say something. So, I think people are going to be interested in it, but most times when it's just on a change of use agenda, people don't know. So, I don't know, I will follow our fearless leading chair.
Well, I think that,
I will as well. I'll follow what you.
well, I hate
as well.
to turn this gentleman out so he cannot go into business, to be honest with you. And I know that you're leaning right on me now, and all of you are, I guess, but I would like to, I think that we should, from the heart, I think we should, believe me, I'm not looking for emotion. From the heart, you're looking to have the people in town have their say. On the heart, on the other side, you're talking about this gentleman going into business.
think if
If I-
members feel comfortable on the commission hearing it, you should do it tonight. I don't know where I stand, but that's, no, I stand the same place where, listen, we've talked about it before. Site plans, I think people should be able to speak on just about everything, but we don't have that. So I follow whatever the commission wants to do. Do I think they should be heard? Yes, but I'm only one voice, so.
Well, you know, I was gonna come table it, but I'm just gonna ask for a motion to approve.
So I'm
No, wait a
confused
minute.
here.
Am I saying this right?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Well, it depends what you're trying to.
Motion to approve
The
the change of use, the way it's written.
To change it. You want-
And
Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on.
here,
I don't have them.
as a chairman, do you want to go to a public hearing or do you not want to go to a public hearing? That's the decision you gotta make. If you want to go to a public hearing, I don't think you want people to vote on his application unless I'm missing. If you
No.
vote on the application
I don't think we
and it
can
goes
do-
down,
do-
then he's nowhere, right?
Right.
If it's granted, then we're done, there's no
Right.
public hearing. So I think you need to decide before that, which way, and if I heard what 1, 2, 3 are saying,
What-
sounded to me they're saying you should have a public hearing. That's what it
I
sounded
know,
to me.
they're all saying the same thing, but
But if
what I'm,
Ask him, I don't know what you're trying to get at.
I'm trying to find out, what can I do legally here? This is all, I want,
I think town council has stated in the past that in the public interest, if the commission believes there's significant enough public interest, that they can call a public hearing on an application. We have to, you know, as you look at, you know, Teresa mentioned about the, you know, public hearings for site plans, what have you. Statutorily, there's an issue with that in that you have a list of permitted uses in your, if there was a different procedure, it's not a public hearing for a reason. It complies with the regs. Now, I'm not saying this application does, but a site plan complies with regs. You're measuring.
Still don't like it.
I hear you, but you're measuring not so much that it is the best use for a
No,
particular
I get it. It's just is it allowed or
position,
not
but it's,
allowed? Right.
the reg allows it,
Right.
therefore, under what
So, yeah.
conditions.
I get it.
Right.
So it's,
that's true.
No, we understand that.
and the other thing is, well, we have a timing issue with it in terms of holding anything off indefinitely, so we have to be very careful about that.
Is there a way to approve this with, as you were gonna say before, with some conditions, and one of the conditions being maybe that if tasers were gonna be brought into the picture in a future time, there would be a public hearing for that? I mean, that's way out there, Alan, I know, but it's kind of makes the best of both worlds in a way. It helps the applicant, and it keeps us with our ability to, you know, control things.
Brian, we couldn't hear everything you said down there.
So,
We couldn't hear what you were saying.
I was saying, is there a way that we could possibly move to approve this, but with conditions that would be, public hearing would be required if they were going to go for anything more like tasers or things like that?
They are going for
We're going for tasers
Guns.
already.
Yes, I know,
Right.
but say at this point, there will not be any tasers until the public hearing would be had on it.
I don't think.
That's why I'm just wondering if we could do something like that.
Can't do that.
If the applicant's agreeable, is my understanding, your legal position is more solid.
He's not
You know, for instance, I asked him about the firearms, he said, no, I'm agreeable to not, you know, to coming back for a public hearing on that. So you didn't ask him, this is not a public hearing, you did, not yet, and you didn't close it per
No,
se.
nothing's closed yet.
So it's still possible to have some degree of dialogue if that's what you
Well,
wanted.
I can open
So you're,
it back up again. I'd have to go out of deliberation.
Well, but let's think about that. So, I hear what Brian is saying, but he's essentially saying, can we bifurcate an approval? Or put an approval and say you're approved for all the protection devices except tasers or phasers or whatever, stun guns, essentially. And then if you want those, which I'm sure he does, he's made that quite clear, it's gotta go to a public hearing. That's kind of what
Yeah,
you're
and
saying,
that's,
right?
well, that's where it gets real difficult, Jim.
I don't know if we can do it though. Can we do that?
It's a little out there, especially since his request is for those
I know,
things.
and it's part of what he wants to do, and I get it. I understand he wants to do it. I think, Vern, you gotta decide whether
Okay.
you want to go to a public hearing. That's what, if you wanna go to a public hearing, you keep
Okay,
this
I
open,
mean,
it goes to a public
I want a
hearing.
motion to go out of deliberation,
Why?
because I do. I don't want to go to public hearing.
I'll make a motion to go to deliberations.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm opposed, I have no
Okay.
idea what we're doing.
Would you come up again, Peter? I just want to get a couple things clear in my head because, you know, I'm an advocate for making things right. Right. No, I don't know if I got that right or not. Are you opposed to, if you ever were to, what you're talking about is guns?
Right.
Opposed to coming back to the commission for anything such as guns or ammunition like that?
You mean-
Are you opposed to that?
You're saying
We're taking everything at
fire,
your
you're
word.
saying
Firearms.
firearms, if I can understand?
Okay, fire.
Okay.
I have no intentions of selling any firearms. None. Now, in the future, in a different area,
That
I don't know
has
what the
nothing to
future
do
is.
with this.
It has nothing to do with firearms. I have no intention of selling firearms. That's my word.
Here or anywhere else in North Haven at this
Well,
point?
but this is the only
Well, that-
application.
Yeah, I'm
This
only
is the only-
addressing.
You
All right.
can't ask
I
him to
ha-
say that.
I have no intention, that's not even in my purview. I'm not
Good enough.
even looking to do firearms right now, sales in that location. That's
Well, I
not
didn't
what
get
I'm
that
doing.
from you before, I didn't feel like I got it from you before.
Yeah, no, I just to be, again.
Okay.
That's why I dropped it in the first place. That's why I'm not here about that now. I don't wanna deal with it. It wasn't a big business for me to try to make money out of. So that's why I'm not here now about that.
Okay.
I believe he's on the record, I
Anybody
think.
else got any questions?
The issue was never guns. He said that very clearly the
No, I
last
didn't
time.
hear
that.
The issue was stun guns, Vern.
Okay.
Well, no, he said tasers.
Or
So they're two
tasers, whatever you
different
wanna call them.
things.
Whatever, those are the things. He never said he wanted to sell firearms, not for 1 second.
Okay, but Brian's
he did not
question
say.
was tasers.
Yeah.
Tasers, yes.
No,
But-
I intend to sell tasers,
Okay.
electronic devices, correct.
And stun guns and tasers are
Yeah, that's,
different,
it
just
falls
to
in the same
clarify.
category,
Right.
right? So,
Okay.
that, I know the town's issue before, they send emails in regards to, we don't want firearms. People email, I believe no one's emailed about this.
No, no, but that's.
You know, they haven't shown up about this here. I don't think, I'm sure if someone wanted to put the word out to get people out here to complain about it, I'm sure you could find people to do that.
Well, they're gonna watch it tonight on TV.
No, I don't want to, well, it's all this, but
But anyway, I give you my word, that's not what I'm looking to do.
good enough. Good. Thanks so much, Peter. Okay. Okay, now,
Want the deliberation?
yep,
Make a motion to go back into deliberations.
the motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, any further?
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you, Jim. If anybody has any more to say in respect to this? Before I call for a motion.
Before you call.
I'm gonna call for a motion to approve it.
Okay.
It's done.
Okay.
A motion to approve? Okay, I make a motion to approve. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve and a second.
Did, okay, your discussion, so the question is, what, just to approve?
The way it's written.
To approve
Does-
the change of use.
The way it's written.
For everything you
Everything we just discussed, we went, do we really have to put in the no guns and all that stuff? He made it very clear.
It's on the record, okay, all right.
Okay, I think we're done talking. Okay, I got a motion and I got a second. I'm calling for a vote. So I'm calling for a vote right now. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Opposed?
Opposed.
Was that 3-2?
3-2.
Okay, good enough. Okay.
Yeah, good luck with
Thank you.
this.
Thank you. Motion to approve May's minute, May 8th minute. Can I go with the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Never feel right.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to
Brian had the
adjourn.
second.